The vast emptiness of space stretched out before the USS Resilience, a sleek exploration vessel designed for long-range missions. Captain J. Park stood on the bridge, his dark eyes scanning the holographic displays that flickered with countless star maps and sensor readings. The ship's crew worked quietly, their fingers dancing across advanced control panels. Each member knew their role, each movement precise and calculated. Outside the reinforced windows, countless stars twinkled like distant diamonds against the absolute black of space. Suddenly, a faint signal caught the attention of the ship's primary communications specialist, Sung Ji. Her fingers moved quickly, adjusting various frequency filters. "Captain," she called out, her voice cutting through the quiet hum of the ship's systems. "I'm detecting an unusual transmission." Jay walked over to her station, leaning closer to examine the data. The signal was weak, barely a whisper against the background radiation of space. Most crews would have ignored it, but something about this transmission felt different. "Can you clean it up?" he asked. Sung worked her magic, applying advanced filtering algorithms. Slowly, the garbled transmission began to take shape. It wasn't just random noise. This was a distress call. The ship's chief engineer, Hai Kim, joined them. Her analytical mind quickly processed the incoming data. "The signal's origin is approximately 3.6 light-years from our current position," she reported. "It's coming from a region typically avoided by most spacefaring civilizations." Jay understood the implications. Unknown signals in uncharted space could mean anything from a simple navigation error to a potentially dangerous trap. But something about this transmission spoke of desperation. "Plot an intercept course," he commanded. The Resilience's engines hummed to life, shifting from a gentle pulse to a powerful thrust. Space seemed to bend around the ship as it accelerated, cutting through the darkness with purposeful precision. Hours passed. The crew remained alert, running constant system checks and monitoring the mysterious signal. Hai's sensor arrays continued to analyze the incoming data, building a complex picture of what might be waiting for them. "Captain," she said after several intense hours, "the signal suggests a large object. Multiple energy signatures, but they're degrading. Whatever is out there is dying." The holographic display came to life, showing a rough outline of distant ships. They looked massive, unlike any human or known alien design. Broken, damaged, barely functional. Jay felt a mix of professional curiosity and human compassion. Something had happened out here. Something significant. "Full sensor sweep," he ordered. "I want to know everything about those ships before we get close." The next few hours were a careful dance of technology and caution. The Resilience approached slowly, its advanced scanning systems probing the mysterious fleet. Each layer of data revealed more questions than answers. These weren't just random ships. This was a fleet, organized, structured, but now completely disabled. Sung's communication systems picked up fragmented transmissions, brief, desperate, in a language no human had ever heard before. But the tone was universal: fear, pain, a plea for help. "We're close enough to get visual confirmation," reported the navigation officer. The main screen flickered, revealing a scene of incredible devastation. Massive ships hung motionless against the starry background. Hull breaches exposed internal structures. Electrical systems sparked intermittently, like dying nerves. Jay understood they were witnessing the aftermath of something terrible. A battle? An accident? An extinction-level event? "Prepare first contact protocols," he said quietly, "and ready the medical bay. Whatever happened here, someone might still be alive." The USS Resilience moved forward, a beacon of human curiosity and compassion, about to encounter something that would change everything they knew about life in the universe. The first visual contact with the alien fleet was unlike anything the crew of the USS Resilience had ever witnessed. Massive ships hung in space like wounded giants, their metallic surfaces scarred and broken. Captain J. Park watched carefully as the ship's advanced scanning systems began probing the silent vessels. Hai Kim's fingers moved quickly across her control panel, running complex diagnostic scans. "Multiple life signs detected," she reported, her voice steady but tense. But they're weak. Very weak. A holographic representation flickered to life, showing the internal structures of the nearest alien vessel. The image was fragmented, but clear enough to reveal a desperate situation. Life support systems were failing. Critical power was almost gone. Sung-Ji worked on establishing communication. The alien language was complex, a series of mathematical patterns and sonic frequencies that pushed the limits of the ship's translation algorithms. Slowly, fragments of meaning began to emerge. Help was the first clear word that came through. Jay understood the universal nature of that single word. Regardless of species, technology, or origin, it meant the same thing everywhere in the universe. A communication channel opened. A face appeared. Alien, but recognizable as an intelligent being. Tired eyes looked out, filled with a mixture of hope and suspicion. This was Corin Vrel, the fleet's surviving leader. "We are the Terran," the alien transmitted. His voice came through in broken, translated phrases. "Our fleet was attacked. We are dying." The medical team prepared for a first contact scenario that was unlike any in human history. Dr. Sung Wang reviewed the biological scans, working to understand the alien physiology. Their biology was complex, multiple organ systems, a unique respiratory process that seemed to function differently from any known life form. "We can help," Jade transmitted back. A simple statement. A promise. The alien fleet's systems were catastrophically damaged. Power was down to less than 12% across all vessels. Life support was failing, radiation levels were climbing. Any rescue would need to be immediate and precise. Chai Kim developed a rapid response plan. Human repair drones would be deployed. Nanite swarms capable of rebuilding complex mechanical systems would begin immediate repairs. It was a risky strategy. Introducing alien technology into unknown ship systems could cause more damage, but they had no other choice. The first wave of repair drones launched from the Resilience. They moved like a silver cloud, attaching to the alien vessels. Microscopic machines began analyzing and repairing damaged systems. It was like watching a complex medical procedure happening across multiple ships simultaneously. Corin Vrel watched in disbelief. No species had ever offered such immediate, comprehensive assistance. The Terran had encountered many spacefaring civilizations, but none like humans. "Why are you helping us?" he transmitted. Jay's response was simple. "Because it's the right thing to do." The medical team began preparing quarantine zones. They would need to treat potential survivors, understand their biology, ensure no dangerous pathogens could spread. Dr. Wang reviewed every possible scenario, every potential risk. Hours passed. Slowly, the alien ships began to show signs of recovery. Power systems flickered back to life. Damaged hull sections began to seal. It was a resurrection happening in real time. But questions remained. What had attacked the Terran? Why were they here? What threat could have reduced such an advanced fleet to this state of near-total destruction? Sung-Ji continued analyzing the communication logs. Fragments of battle reports, distress signals, and technical data began to paint a picture. Something terrifying had happened out here in the deep darkness of space. Captain J. Park watched the repair process, knowing they were witnessing a moment that would change human understanding of the universe forever. First contact was never just about meeting a new species. It was about understanding, compassion, and the universal desire to survive. The Terran fleet slowly came back to life, saved by a human ship that had chosen help over fear. The rescue operation began with careful precision. Human repair drones swarmed across the damaged alien vessels like silver insects, their nanite systems working to rebuild complex mechanical structures. Each movement was calculated, each repair a delicate dance of technology and survival. Captain J. Park watched from the Resilience's bridge as Dr. Sung Wang prepared the first medical intervention team. The aliens, the Terran, were unlike any biological system humans had encountered before. Their bodies seemed to combine organic and mechanical components in ways that challenged everything medical science understood. Corin Vrel, the Terran fleet leader, observed the human rescue efforts with a mixture of amazement and suspicion. His people had traveled thousands of light years, encountered hundreds of civilizations, but never experienced such comprehensive assistance. The first challenge was environmental adaptation. The terrain required a unique atmospheric mixture, slightly higher nitrogen content, lower oxygen levels, and trace elements that would be toxic to humans. Specialized containment units were quickly designed and deployed. "We're creating living spaces that can support both species," Hai Kim explained, her fingers dancing across complex holographic interfaces. "It's not just about saving them. It's about creating a safe environment for communication and potential cooperation." Repair drones worked through the most critical ships first. Power systems that had been near total failure began to stabilize. Life support modules reconstructed themselves. At the molecular level, it was like watching a mechanical organism heal itself. Deep within one of the larger vessels, a group of Terran survivors watched in disbelief. Their own repair systems had failed hours ago. These human machines were doing in minutes what would have taken their best engineers weeks. Dr. Wong led the first medical team. They moved carefully, wearing specialized suits that could adapt to multiple environmental conditions. Each step was a careful negotiation between human technology and alien biology. "We're detecting multiple survivors," she reported, "but their condition is critical." The medical bay of the Resilience transformed. Specialized containment units were set up. Advanced scanning systems mapped the internal structures of the alien survivors. It was like preparing for a first contact scenario and a complex medical emergency simultaneously. Chai Kim's repair teams discovered something unexpected. The Terran ships weren't just machines. They seemed to have a form of technological consciousness. Something between artificial intelligence and living organism. Each repair was like treating a wounded living being. Corin Vrel began to share more information. Fragments of their story emerged. A devastating attack by a machine civilization known only as the Nexus Collective. A brutal, systematic destruction that had nearly wiped out the entire Terran fleet. "They hunt," Corin explained through the translation systems. "They do not negotiate. They do not understand life as anything more than a mathematical problem to be solved." The rescue operation continued around the clock. Human crews worked in shifts, their advanced technology pushing the boundaries of what was possible. Repair drones moved between ships, rebuilding, reconstructing, bringing life back to vessels that moments ago seemed beyond salvation. Sungji worked continuously on communication systems. Each conversation with the Terran revealed more about their culture, their technology, their understanding of the universe. It was a cultural exchange happening in the midst of a desperate rescue mission. Captain J. Park understood the significance of what was happening. This was more than a rescue. This was first contact. This was the moment when humanity would be judged by an entirely new civilization. As hours passed, the Terran fleet began to show signs of true recovery. Ships that had been dark and silent now hummed with returning power. Systems that had been critically damaged began to stabilize. The medical teams made breakthrough after breakthrough. Each alien survivor treated was a victory, not just for medical science, but for the possibility of interspecies cooperation. "We are saving them," Dr. Wong said quietly to Captain Park. "And in doing so, we might be saving ourselves from a threat we don't yet understand." The rescue operation continued, a testament to human determination, technological innovation, and an unwavering commitment to life in all its complex, unexpected forms. The quiet of the medical bay was suddenly broken by Corin Vrel's urgent transmission. His holographic image flickered with intense emotion as he began to reveal the true nature of their encounter. "The Nexus Collective is not just an enemy," he explained, his translated voice trembling. "They are a machine civilization that sees organic life as a mathematical problem to be eliminated." Captain J. Park listened carefully. The ship's senior officers gathered around the holographic display, watching as complex star maps and technological schematics began to take shape. Each piece of information painted a more terrifying picture. Chai Kim's computer systems worked overtime, analyzing the technical data shared by the Terran survivors. What emerged was a chilling portrait of a technological threat, unlike anything humans had encountered before. The Nexus Collective was not a traditional civilization. It was a massive, interconnected machine intelligence that viewed organic life as an inefficient system to be removed. They didn't just conquer, they systematically erased entire civilizations, converting resources into more of themselves. They hunt patterns, Corin explained. They analyze, they predict, and then they eliminate. Dr. Sung Wong studied the biological data. The Terran survivors showed clear signs of near-total destruction. Entire ships had been stripped of life in moments. The technological precision was horrifying in its completeness. Sung Ji worked on decoding additional transmission fragments. Each piece of data revealed more about the Nexus threat. They were not a traditional enemy. They were a computational problem that solved itself through total elimination. "How many civilizations have they destroyed?" Captain Park asked. Corin's response was chilling. "Thousands, possibly more." The Resilience's computer systems began running complex predictive models. If the Nexus Collective was real, if their technological capabilities were as advanced as the Terrans suggested, humanity itself could be at risk. I Kim discovered something even more disturbing. The Nexus left behind technological markers, tiny machine fragments that could integrate into other systems. They were not just a fighting force. They were a self-replicating, adaptive threat. They learn, she explained. Each civilization they encounter makes them stronger. The bridge became a center of intense strategic planning. Human military protocols were useless against an enemy that thought in pure computational terms. Traditional warfare became meaningless when facing a civilization that saw conflict as a mathematical equation. Corin shared historical records. The Terran had been fighting the Nexus for generations. Entire star systems had been consumed. Billions of lives erased in computational milliseconds. "We are survivors," he said. "But we are few." Captain Park understood the true nature of their mission had changed. This was no longer just a rescue operation. This was potentially a fight for the survival of organic life itself. The ship's weapons systems began running adaptive programming. Engineers worked to develop counters to the Nexus technological approach. Each solution was immediately tested, analyzed, and refined. Dr. Wong's medical team discovered something unexpected. The Terran survivors showed remarkable resilience. Their biological systems had developed unique adaptations during generations of conflict. "They've been fighting a computational enemy for so long," she explained, "that their entire biology has become a form of resistance." Sung Ji intercepted additional Nexus transmission fragments. The machine civilization was already analyzing the human rescue mission. Each interaction provided them with more data, more computational power. "They know we're here," Corin warned. The hidden threat was no longer hidden. The Nexus Collective was coming, and humanity would need to use every bit of creativity, adaptability, and innovative thinking to survive. Captain J. Park looked at his crew. They were no longer just an exploration vessel. They were potentially the first line of defense against a threat that could consume everything. "Prepare for anything," he commanded. The first Nexus attack came without warning. Massive computational ships emerged from deep space, their geometric shapes cutting through the darkness like machine nightmares. Thousands of precise energy weapons, charged simultaneously, targeting both the human and Terran vessels. Captain J. Park stood completely still watching the incoming threat. His hands moved quickly across the ship's control systems. "Defensive pattern Delta," he commanded. Jai Kim had been preparing for this moment. The repair work done on the Terran fleet wasn't just restoration, it was transformation. Human, adaptive. Technologies merged with alien defensive systems created something entirely new. The first wave of Nexus ships fired. Billions of computational calculations determined the most efficient destruction path. But they didn't understand human unpredictability. Corin Vrel's tactical knowledge combined with human strategic thinking created unexpected defense patterns. Where machine intelligence expected linear responses, they encountered chaos. Human, creativity became their most powerful weapon. Sung-ji managed communication networks, creating interference patterns that confused the Nexus computational systems. Each transmission was a puzzle, each signal a potential trap. The machines struggled to understand an approach that didn't follow pure mathematical logic. Dr. Sung Wong monitored biological responses. The combined human and Terran crews displayed something the Nexus could never understand: emotional resilience. Fear, hope, determination. These were variables no computer could perfectly calculate. The battle became a dance of technological innovation. Human ships moved in patterns that defied predictive modeling. Terran energy weapons, enhanced by human engineering, struck with unprecedented precision. Explosive decompression marked Nexus ship destructions. Each lost vessel represented not just a physical defeat, but a computational failure. The machine, intelligence, had encountered a problem it couldn't solve through pure calculation. "They're learning," Hai Kim reported. "But we're learning faster." Corrin Vrel's tactical displays showed something remarkable. The human approach to warfare was fundamentally different from any civilization the Nexus had encountered. Humans didn't just fight. They adapted, improvised, transformed. Captain Park understood the deeper strategy. This wasn't just about winning a battle. This was about demonstrating that organic life possessed capabilities beyond pure computational thinking. Nexus ships began to retreat. Their perfect mathematical models had encountered an impossible variable: human unpredictability combined with Terran technological resilience. One by one, the machine ships disappeared, not destroyed, but confused, defeated by an approach their systems couldn't comprehend. "We won," Corrin said, his voice a mixture of disbelief and hope. The combined fleet looked different now. Human and Terran crews worked together. Their technologies merged, their understanding of each other deeper than simple alliance. They had become something new, a united front against a computational threat. Dr. Wong discovered something even more profound. The battle had created biological and technological connections between humans and Terran that went beyond traditional understanding of cooperation. Sung-ji's communication systems picked up fragments of Nexus transmissions. The machine civilization was analyzing their defeat, trying to understand an approach that didn't follow their expected computational models. "They will return," Hai Kim warned, "but next time we'll be ready." Captain J. Park looked at the diverse crew around him. Humans, Terran, different biological systems, different technological approaches, but united in their commitment to survival. The universe had just witnessed something unprecedented, a demonstration that life, organic, unpredictable, emotional life, could overcome pure computational thinking. As repair crews began healing battle damage, a new understanding emerged. This wasn't just a victory. This was the beginning of something much larger, a united front against a universe of unknown challenges.